I was like, I still know this isn't for me. I'm really good at it. I've learned incredible skills. My boss is amazing, but this isn't for me.
The way people describe wanting to have a child, I was just like, I just have to start a business because if I don't do this, I'm going to regret it.
I just remember in my journal, I want to help people. I want to help people. I just didn't know what that looked like.
I just look at like things that are happening now and I try and extrapolate them forward and go, okay, so what will AI look like in the future?
Building the life that you want, of running a business, being an entrepreneur, is about the journey and the person that you become on the way, not just about what you've built.
My name's Rotimi Merriman-Johnson.
And my name is Laura Ann Moore, and this is Visionaries in Progress.
My name's Rotimi Merriman-Johnson. I'm a financial educator, a qualified financial advisor, and I make content on the internet about personal finance, investing, and getting on the property ladder.
Hi, my name is Laura Ann Moore. I am a qualified financial coach, a money and financial wellbeing speaker, content creator, and the podcast host of Mind, Money, Soul. And it's all about helping you to think differently about money so you can confidently build wealth. I'm excited to do this with you.
Yeah, it's a really interesting format.
Me and Timmy do stuff all the time together. This is the first time it's
been recorded.
Let's first of all talk about entrepreneurship.
Sure.
And let's share, and obviously you can go first, what inspired you to step into entrepreneurship, and were there any pivotal moments that pushed you to take that leap?
Do you know what? I'm going to give a slightly different response on this. I've kind of always struggled getting jobs and like progressing in jobs. I think I had like 3 jobs before becoming an entrepreneur. I've only ever been promoted twice. I have like my annual salary. The highest annual salary I've ever earned hasn't been that high. I kind of knew early on that I wasn't going to make it in corporate. I wasn't very good at playing like the office politics game. I was a bit of a nightmare to the people that were managing me because I wanted to do everything. I didn't just want to do my position. Like, for example, I used to work at a PR firm, but I really wanted to do graphic design for them.
You're like, let me try.
Yeah.
Like, that's not your job.
And they were literally like, this isn't your job. You weren't hired to do that. You're hired to be a PR person. So I kind of like, I get FOMO. I get like work FOMO, and I want to do lots of different things. And was there like a pivotal moment where I was like, I need to start a business? I wouldn't say it was a pivotal moment, but like I got to a point where it was almost like the way people describe wanting to have a child. I was just like, I just have to start a business because if I don't do this, I'm going to regret it.
Yeah, you just knew. So you had 3 jobs.
Yeah,
before you
like 3 or 4 like jobs.
And did you go from you like quit full time and went straight into this, or was there a crossover?
That's a great question. So Mr MoneyJar is actually my second business. So for the first one, the first one was a finance app, and I worked on it for a year, and I did that the wrong way. So I saved up some money, and then I gave myself a year to make it work, and I quit my job. Terrible idea because the universe doesn't work that way. And basically, I put a lot of pressure on myself to make something work.
Yeah.
And I shouldn't have done it that way at all. Then with Mr MoneyJar, I was actually working as a finance manager at the time for a job where I was working 4 days a week. And it was a business support charity, which is actually where I met the host of, not the host of this podcast, but the lady that runs this podcast. And I joined them in the capacity as an entrepreneur. So they kind of knew that I was working for them and I had a business on the side. So I could work 4 days a week for the charity. And then on the day off, I would work on Mr MoneyJar stuff, and on the weekends, on the evenings and stuff. And it was like a gentle, like, you're working 4 days a week, you're trying to replace 20% of your income. Then you're working 3 days trying to replace 40%. And it was like a very gentle thing. And then I started to get like broadcast requests for like Sky News and stuff. And then I would like do those in the morning and then show up to work late. And I was like, and I should probably leave before I really like piss off my boss.
Yeah. So was it the busyness of what was happening with Mr MoneyJar that made you take the jump to go full time?
So I waited until I hit like a critical mass rather than going like drawing a line in the sand and leaving my job. I think that doesn't work. That only happens in films, basically. So I think the lesson to learn there is, I think when it comes down to it, there isn't really anything in it between a 9 to 5 and a business. You can become wealthy either way. In fact, I think that the wealthiest person I know is just like a very retired but like senior person who got like stock options in his job.
Yeah.
So you can do it you can do the business way, you can do it the 9 to 5 way. So I think the lesson there is some people are suited for jobs, some
Yeah.
people are suited for business.
I agree.
You should just follow like what is in your heart, and you can't rush things. Like things just happen when they happen, and you just need to be ready when the opportunity is there.
I love that. I didn't know you had a app beforehand.
Yeah. I had an app, no coding experience. It's just, no coding experience. Gave myself a year to do it, like it didn't work. I think that if it had turned into something, it probably would have turned into something a bit buy now, pay later, because it was about like chopping your expenses into like monthly amounts and stuff.
Giving the big boys a run for their money.
Yeah. How about you?
I don't see myself as an entrepreneur.
Interesting.
Yeah, I don't relate to that word.
Okay, let's break it down.
Yeah, I see myself as a business owner. I see myself as a founder, but I don't see myself as an entrepreneur. I think in my mind, entrepreneurs are like really innovative and I don't know, like bring new exciting things to them. I don't know. Maybe bring new exciting things to a market and like are really like ahead of the game, very visionary. It's not that I don't see myself as those things like individually in regards to the features of that, the traits, sorry. It's more, I just got a weird thing about the word entrepreneur for me.
It has become quite loaded, hasn't it?
Yeah.
It's like there's almost an expectation that everyone should become an entrepreneur. And
yeah. And I'm not like, I'm not like, come up with this business idea. Let's think about this. Let's think about funding. Let's think about how we're getting it out to the market. Whereas I run a lifestyle business. I am at the heart of my business. I am the face of my business. I'm a content creator. I get skills. I have a service. You know, I help people, which I see more as like, business owner, like founder territory. What inspired me to get into it? Similarly, like you, I kind of realized that the 9-to-5 world wasn't for me. So like when I got my job, when I was 19, my first ever job in marketing, and I worked for a marketing agency. Because I knew at that point I wanted to be an actress, I always thought I would have an unconventional life and job. So that when I first got my like full-time job, it was a stepping stone. It was like, this is just a part of my career to make money, to go to drama school. I never saw it as like permanent. Then I ended up obviously going traveling and spending all that money, came home, got the same job. But when I was back in it, I was like, I still know this isn't for me. I'm really good at it. I've learned incredible skills. My boss is amazing, like so many things, but this isn't for me. So I think what inspired me is like, when I came back from Australia and started like talking about money online and just found myself like getting a little bit of a following, ended up on BBC News, you know, ended up being able to like create content. And a pivotal moment for me was a friend who is a very good friend of mine now. She reached out to me and was like, oh, like, do you want to do this workshop together? And we did it for free, smashed it. And she was like, you know that you could turn this into a job, right? And I was like, how? I don't know how. I didn't understand online world. I didn't understand the digital world. I didn't understand blogging. I didn't understand anything. So then her just saying like, no, you can, like, here's some ways you could do it, made me really be like, oh, okay. And like the freedom, the creativity, like the excitement. And I think the idea of kind of not working for someone else, working for myself, making money whilst helping people. I think once I'd come back and decided I don't want to be an actress anymore, but knowing that I was like, I want to help people. I just remember in my journal, I want to help people. I want to help people. I just didn't know what that looked like. So yeah, a pivotal moment for me, I think, was my friend saying that to me and saying, you could turn this into a job. And then also getting my first job as like a freelancer, as like someone who was self-employed and being like, cool. I think I got paid like £70 or something from like a brand who wanted me to make a little video. I spent all day doing it. But I was like, I've just been paid for this. This is so cool. Yeah. It's a cool moment.
I had a similar moment. I think the first fee I ever got paid was £150, but it was a realization that like someone's actually willing to pay you for what you do. Something that I know from knowing you as well, and I've just noticed this from the story you've told, is you really take what people say and run with it. So it's like your friend said that to you about you can make money from your business, and you kind of turned that into something. And in previous conversations we've had, you've talked about how you went on a date and then the person spoke to you about investing, and then that just so like, would you call yourself a words of affirmation person?
Yeah, words are really like important to me. in many ways.
Yeah.
I am a words person. Words of affirmation is one of my love languages. I love validation. I love approval and praise through words. When I was younger, it was probably from a more unhealthy place, like needing to have validation from people, like telling me stuff or thinking that other people are smarter than me. So when they tell me something, I'm like, oh, they must be right.
Yeah.
I need to run with it. But now, where I'm at in my adult life, still would say I'm a words of affirmation person, but it's from a healthier, more secure place of like, interesting, I don't know everything, you know some stuff, I want to learn from you. Or like, you know, as we know, actions speak louder than words, but words are still important. So yeah, there have definitely been some defining moments in my life and my career where it's come from other people sharing something with me and me being like, interesting, I'm going to do something about that.
Just on the words thing, I'm definitely an actions person, just because I think I've had experiences in my life where people have said things but not followed through. So when people say things now, I'll be like, okay, let's see what they actually do. Yeah.
I think when it's someone saying something to you, like if we think about it in business, the amount of times I've had from brands, people that I've met, we want to do this with you, we want to do this with you, you're going to do this, you're going to, and that's when I go, until I see it, fine. But when it comes to knowledge, somebody that's done something that I haven't done, it's lessons, it's learnings, it's quotes, it's, you know, that's when I'm like, it hits versus saying like, I've got to see the action if it's going to be. Because I think when you run a business, it's so easy for everyone just to be like, oh my God, and you can get caught up in that side of it. But to be able to go, what's actually real here? What's actually going to help me? What's actually going to support, you know, help me grow? I think is really important to differentiate between.
Do you see yourself ever going back to a job?
Oh, great question. So start of this year, January 2025, I came into the year and I started looking for full-time jobs. I was in a weird place with work where I felt a little bit directionless, a little bit lost. It wasn't the passion or the love for it had gone. I was staring at my inbox and I was like, it's crickets. There's nothing there. And like, I live in London. I have a house to pay, well, not mortgage, but you know, I've got rent to pay for, I've got a life to fund. And when you're in that moment, you're like, what's the best solution? And in that moment, the thing that I felt like I knew I could do, I was like, well, I could get a job. It's a guaranteed salary. So I probably for about 3 days spent the time, maybe 2, spent some time looking, soul crushing, hated every second of it. And I was like, I don't want this. So pushed the idea out straight away. That kind of made me realize my soul wouldn't want that. However, if I'm ever in a position where I need to get a job, be it part-time or full-time, I would be like, I'd put my pride aside and I absolutely would do it. Like making ends meet and, you know, being financially stable is always the more important thing for me. But now I also understand the skills that I have now of all, you know, the network, the connections I have. I don't think I'll ever have to go back into a full-time job. And I hope, because that's not what I want. I want to like grow my own business and all the things. But yeah, what about you?
Likewise. I mean, something that I would love to be able to do is start a family one day. And it seems a bit risky to do that off of #AddMoney. Because you just, I know it's weird. When you're in this business, let me speak for myself. Whenever a new job comes in, you're like, oh, wow, people still want to, cool.
Nice.
So I would feel a bit more secure. You'd be better able to plan.
Yeah.
You can kind of soft sell in this industry, but like you wait for jobs to come in, then you do them, and then there's an invoice that goes out, and then sometimes they don't pay the invoice and stuff. But with a salary, you're definitely getting that amount of money every month. I think a hybrid could be interesting. Maybe like 2-3 day a week job, like doing something quite focused, and then you get your ad hoc money on top. I'd be open to that, but completely agree with you. I think 9 to 5 job, you can build wealth either way. You can flex your skills either way. I think I wouldn't be able to do the things that I can do in business now if I hadn't had the jobs I've had. Yeah. Because I learned from people, but now you're kind of having to make things up as you go along, particularly in something that's quite new, like content creation for finance.
Yeah, I'm the same. I would not be where I am today if I hadn't had my 9 to 5 because of all the skills that I learned. But if you're asking me for my dream life, it does not involve me having a 9 to 5. But I also think some people are set up to have 9 to 5s and should have 9 to 5s and be employees. And some people are set up to be entrepreneurs and business owners. Mm-hmm. So it's like finding, it's like
knowing
you said before,
what your calling
knowing
is,
what your calling is, knowing what your strength is, and also knowing what era you're in. Like I knew I probably wouldn't want to have a 9 to 5, but I was in that era of like building some wealth, getting some good skills. So it's like knowing, being okay with it, even if it's not the end goal.
Yep.
You know?
Many aspiring entrepreneurs struggle with access to capital. Have you personally faced financial barriers in your journey? If so, what were they and how did you navigate or overcome them?
So for me with my business, I have never wanted or needed funding because, again, lifestyle business, it's me, it's, you know, I'm not needing, it's not like I have a product-based business where I need a bunch of cash up front, or it's not like an app or like a tech-based business where I need money. And so I've never thought about any kind of funding. I have
never taken funding from anyone.
Never taken funding from anyone. Not even like that. I borrowed £300 from my mum once, which is just reminding me, I think I still owe that to her.
Yeah, you should probably pay that back.
Probably should pay that back. Yeah, never taken funding, but I've got a lot of friends who run businesses where they have taken funding or they're going through the funding process. I find it fascinating. And especially because being a female in this space, only 2% of VC money in the UK goes to women, which is so small. It's even smaller, the amount out of that 2% that goes to black women. As a woman, trying to raise money is so hard. And it's not a mindset, it's like a statistic. So yeah, for me, I guess financially what I've felt challenged with is more when I quit my job and went full time like 3 years ago. I remember having a couple of conversations and I was single and a couple of people could not believe that I'd chosen living in London as a single woman to quit my stable full-time job to run a business. Because a lot of the people that I know in the space, in the finance space, but also just in general, had partners that they lived with that had stable jobs. So they're like, guys, I've quit my job, I've gone self-employed. But behind the scenes, they've got a partner who's basically, yo, if you can't pay the mortgage, you're so fine. Whereas I didn't have that. And I also come from a background where I don't have anybody else I can rely on. Like my parents aren't rolling in the dollar. So my challenges, I would say as a small business owner, have more been cash flow. Like I literally today got paid from a brand, an invoice that I was owed in September. Excuse me. So 6 months on. And I'm, you know, as being in the finance space, I'm quite good at plotting out my money. So yeah, I would say cash flow issues probably have been the biggest challenge. I think so many small business owners and entrepreneurs face that. What about you?
I wanted to get your thoughts.
Yes, hit me.
On why you think or why it is the case that only 2% of VC money goes to women.
I think that there are a couple of reasons why. One, for however many years, it's been like a man's game because VCing is still investing. And, you know, if we think about a lot of the wealthy, high net worth people in the UK, a higher percentage of them are men. The threshold that is required for you to be a VC is changed recently, and I don't know the exact number, but it changed to a point where it knocked out a huge portion of women because of the gender pay gap. There are more men that are making that amount of money and can be VCs or in that space than women. And a lot of the women who have raised money or are raising money or are looking to raise money, a lot of them create solutions to problems that they have, as women, have faced. Today, I was at an amazing event this morning and a woman named Josephine has created this business, which is all to do with clothes alterations, more of a female space. You know, they're like my friend Nick, who runs an app called Click. She's made this sort of community-based app. It started out sort of more in the female space. Like there's a lot of like, Aisha who created Propel, which is like a female-only investment app. It's for women. So when you're going to men to ask for money, I hear a lot of the time it's things like, that's never going to work. just do this, just do that. And the solution, they don't get the product or the service.
Yeah.
So therefore they're not bought into it.
Yeah.
So there's that on top of all the other biases of just like gender issues in the country. I think there's loads of like contributing factors. Yeah. And a lot of the women that end up raise money from women. So they're like, I ended up just going to, finding the women. It was a smaller pool, but I'm actually ended up getting money from them.
That reminds me of, I used to listen to a podcast called How I Built This.
Ooh.
And Sarah Blakely, the founder of Spanx.
I love her.
Was on that. Yeah, and I think she had that issue that you were talking about where she was trying to raise money of just like hosiery. The men that she was trying to raise the money from were like what the hell's this?
Yeah.
And then I think she got some money from one particular raise because one of the investors went home and told the idea to his wife, and his wife was like, "What? That's amazing.
Yeah.
I would use those." Yeah.
Yeah, and I think the amount of times I've heard that story is crazy. Like that kind of story is crazy. Like the man didn't get it. The man didn't get it. The man that I was going to that had the money didn't get it. And I think when somebody invests in your business, when it's like hundreds of thousands of pounds, you need them to get it. It can't just be like, oh, okay, I kind of like you. Like you need them to be like on board. So it's kind of like you're butting heads. And I think it's such a shame because the businesses that I'm not going to say the stat because I don't know it exactly, but there is a stat that basically says the women who raise the money end up doing better basically and are less likely to lose investor money. Now, obviously we're working off a 2% versus a 98%, pool of people, but it's crazy because it's like if women are creating amazing products and services for the people, doing really well, the investments are making big returns, and yet they're still not getting as much funding as they should. Like it's crazy. But yeah, it's a shame. And I don't know if I ever will go down that route. Maybe if one day I wake up in the middle of the night and I come up with an amazing idea, and I'm like, I need some money behind me, I'll go on that journey, but I'm not willing to put myself through that right now.
Cool. That's really interesting because we've never spoken about that before together. In terms of me, I haven't raised money yet as well. But I've been on a journey.
Yeah.
I started out, particularly my first company, wanting to make a massive company. But that's because I pedestalized money. Yeah. And I hope that's a word.
I think I liked it.
Pedestalized. And I pedestalize money, entrepreneurship and wealth. And this is me when I'm in my like mid to late 20s. And a lot of that comes from, there's a lot of like self-worth and self-love stuff in there. And then I stopped feeling that way. I idolized a lot of entrepreneurs. And then a lot of them would have like relationship difficulties and their children weren't speaking to them, or they'd be unhealthy or they'd die. And then I'd be like, oh, wow, you can still have problems even if you have like a super successful business and you're in Forbes or whatever. So I like, my whole perspective around that changed. And then I, like you said, just wanted to go into business where I was helping people. Yeah. And that's what I started with Mr MoneyJar. And I was able to do that. I've been doing it for like 4.5 years now, so able to do that. But I would say last year I had a shift where I was like, I actually want to create something that outlasts me. Yeah. And something that has a bit of durability to it. And actually the pivotal moment for me with that was I listened to a podcast episode with Ali Abdaal and Daniel Priestley, and he talks about how to build and scale a business. And there's a line in there where he says that if you build a business, like a lifestyle business is just based on you, and then you become ill, that's like all your money-making ability gone, basically. So it's risky. And that would be like a big company that has like hundreds of employees, all the employees going on holiday on the same day or something. Like you wouldn't want that to happen. You wouldn't invest in that sort of business. Yeah. So I got thinking a lot about de-risking, but then I got thinking a lot about legacy. Not legacy in terms of me, because who cares? In 100 years, no one's going to remember who I am. But if you make something and it's genuinely helping, if the objective is to help people, then it kind of doesn't help anyone if it stops working when you stop working. Yeah. You want to find a way to scale it outside of yourself. Now, as content creators, we do that through content, because it's like you record something once, it can be watched multiple times. But I've also been thinking about like, what business can I create out of the reputation that I've built and the content that I've built and stuff, so I can build something that outlives me. And then that relates to the finance point, because now I'm open to raising money again.
Yeah.
Because if you want to scale something, if you have a hypothesis and you've tested it and it works, then the money will just help you to get there more quickly, rather than if you try to build your way up. I agree with you on the cash flow issues point. In our industry, it's very much, it's like being an actor or something. You get a job, you do it, you get paid. So cash flow issues abound, but also there's not really any monthly recurring revenue just off the content creation stuff. So you need to make like a course or like a whatever. But then I've been very careful about that sort of stuff, like, because we've both had our pages duplicated, and the people that do that, they make courses and stuff.
Yeah.
So I'm like, if I do this, then I need to be very careful about how I do it. So in answer to the question, wanting to make a huge thing and raise loads of money, then stop putting that on the pedestal and just focused on the work and helping people. Now I feel like I'm doing that. I'm like, actually, it'd be really cool to do what I'm doing, but to impact the whole country. Why not?
Why not? Do you have any concerns about raising and like getting funding? If any?
Yeah. You hit upon the point, which is like, the people that you take money from aren't going to give it to you out of the goodness of their heart. They're going to want a return on it, and they're going to want you to do certain things, even if they're lovely people. So it's just like, it's like getting into a long-term relationship or a marriage or something. You need to be very sure about the people that you're going into business with. You need to be willing to commit to something for a long time. Yeah. Like every time I sit down and speak to people of our age group, our peers, the conversation of leaving the UK always comes up. And I think if you're a British entrepreneur and you want to raise money for a British business, then you're that's you committing to stay in the country, or at least be tied to the country for a bit more. Whereas if you have dreams of, moving to Bali or something and doing like the internet money type of thing, then maybe you don't want to raise a whole bunch of money and build a massive thing in the UK. Maybe you just want to scale your lifestyle business and stick to that. Yeah,
that's a great point. Everybody wants to leave. This morning at the event that we were at, it was a lady from the British Chamber of Commerce. And she was talking about an initiative or a scheme or internal sort of strategy, and how they're talking about they want to make the UK one of the best places for small businesses.
Okay.
And I was like, love that. Do you reckon we could do that now?
Yeah.
Because I'm kind of crazy. And I do think as well with being like talking on the if you think about the funding part, yes, you've obviously got a bunch of cash flow, but you have to be a good money manager. Like, we would be great because of the industry that we're in, but I've spoken to, known of a lot of people who raise money and end up in a position where the runway gets smaller, and they're like, they look back and they go in hindsight, didn't need to do that, we could have cut costs, and been more aware of like the kind of management side of it. But small scale, big scale, your own money as a small business owner, big VC money, either way, you need to be like more careful with how you manage it.
Yeah.
Which brings us on nicely to the next bit, which is for entrepreneurs who don't have large savings or easy access to funding, what practical financial strategies would you recommend to get started and sustain a business in the early days?
Yeah, that's a great question.
Thank you.
I would say, because I think that's the industry we've gone into. I think if you don't have that much startup capital, then I would focus on a services or knowledge-based business rather than a physical product one, unless you have a whiz-bang like product idea that you can just kind of make. Like the people that have done that and scaled it, two businesses that come to mind are Ava Estelle, skincare brand, 7-figure skincare brand, and Plant Made. Those are just basically wizards who made stuff at home, and then it like worked, and then they sold it to people. But outside of that, okay, can you productize your knowledge?
Yeah.
Can you productize your skills, and can you market those to people for free? And you've got social media, you've got emails, like newsletters and stuff. Create an event on Eventbrite for free. Can you market it for free? And can you create an offering which I think has to either save people time or money.
Yeah.
A lot of people I know that have gone into marketing, particularly things like Facebook ads and like Google ads, they're doing really, really well because their business model is just, I'm just going to find other businesses and help them to increase their sales, and I'm just going to charge them a cut of that. Like, people always want to pay you. It's kind of like ice cream truck. I'm literally just making this example up on the spot. If you see an ice cream truck like on a summer's day and he doesn't have any footfall, and then you're the person who goes out and like flyers everyone and puts a sign up saying go and buy ice cream from him, then you're gonna that person's gonna be more than willing to like part with their cash because you're helping them. And I think it's always better to do the money piece because the amount of money you can help someone make is like infinite, but the amount of time you can save someone is like you can only go to so little time. I think in the main, we are in the saving people time arena because we're teaching stuff. So we're taking stuff that we've spent ages learning and then we're imparting it to them in the space of a 1-minute video. And then they're like, thank you. But it's also interesting because the actual content of what we're saying does help people to make money as well. But as an educator, fundamentally what you're doing is you're distilling years worth of knowledge down into either a small space of time or in a way that's accessible to people. And people really value that.
Yeah, I think we naturally, what we do by talking about financial education online is saving them time and money. It's like, well, you've kind of got the saving of the time and the money, but then also you can't, like you say, you can't make time, but you can make more money. So you've kind of like, with time, it's like, it's finite. So if people really value their time, they're going to be open to go, like, take some of my money. I need some more of that time back. Whereas on the money piece, it's different.
It's unlimited.
Because it's like it's unlimited. You could make as much as you technically want, but you can only save so much money because you've got to have money in the first place to save it. You know?
So if you don't have large savings, I would say knowledge work, service-based work, and then I would also say in this economy, target businesses. Target businesses rather than consumers, because consumers only have so much. Like there's an actual pounds and pence amount of average weekly expenditure in the UK. It's like just over $2,500 or something. So that's kind of how much money people have. But a business is likely to have a lot more money to pay you for the service you're doing for them.
When you go into business, I think it's really important that you understand your why, because a lot of the time we try and solve poor people problems. They're not going to be the people giving you money. So if you're trying to build a business because you want to have a good living and you want to make a lot of money, you don't want to go after people that don't have a lot of money, unless you're going to go for volume and you want loads of them.
To go volume.
Which I think nowadays, is easier because of social media. But, you have the other side where maybe you go for the people that have more money to play with. But then you're just, adding to the helping more rich people make more money or save them more time. I think it's up to you. You've got to figure out your why. I think if you do have a product-based business, doing the lean startup approach of being like, what's my MVP? Like, what's my minimum viable product? How can I get this out to people for as little as possible? I went to a talk the other day and there was a woman who set up a overnight oats company. She sells it in little jars, very successful. Never has had any funding, and it's like 6-figure business. It's in Selfridges, and she told her story about how she did it. And she was like, had an idea one day, went to Tesco, bought some oats, bought some of this, handed it out to my friends, and she went in with naivety because she was like, I don't know how hard this is. Let's just see what happens. And it went amazingly. Now, that's not to say that's always going to happen, but I think if you have a product-based business, going for like you said, starting small and then kind of going wider, I also think some practical financial strategies to get started. So to get started and then to sustain. To get started is like, obviously, bootstrapping as much as you can. So you want those things to be your expenses to be lower, but that might require second jobs, side hustles, freelancing, running your business alongside having a job. I think it's glamorized the quitting of your job to run a business. Save yourself. Sometimes it's okay to take the leap, but like when I quit my full-time job, I technically, financially in regards to like savings, could have quit about a year and a half before I did. But I was like, I want to save a bit more. I want to feel like I've got better connections, better this, better that. And everyone is different. But I think money worries block your ability to be creative, to be productive, to show up as your best self, because all you're doing is worrying about money. So then how are you going to run your business successfully, be an entrepreneur, show up online if you're worrying about money? I think that's the thing. So it's like, if you haven't started yet, do your best to make sure you give yourself enough runway, and then to sustain it, to make sure that you've got enough cash flow is like keeping your personal money separate from your business money. Like have a personal bank account and a business bank account so that they're separate. And just like you would for your personal finances with a budget, have a business spreadsheet. Like the amount of, I work sometimes one-to-one with business owners, and I just sit them down, we go through their finances, we figure it all out. And the amount of business owners, small business owners, I say, right, show me your spreadsheet, like what's coming in, what's going out. And they're like, what do you mean? I'm like, what do you mean? Yeah. You know, you've been running your business for like a year or two. You don't know how much you're making. You don't know. It's rough. It's an idea. That, and I could talk about this all day, obviously, there's a huge money mindset piece around like the avoiding of finances. And sometimes depending on how you are in your personal finance, that might show up in your business finance. And there's nothing, I hate hearing stories of amazing businesses or business owners or entrepreneurs that had to stop playing the game or had to shut their business down because of things like cash flow or going at it too hard. And mistakes happen, and I think there's some things that are unavoidable, but creating a safety net is really important. And the last thing I will add is drawing down on your network. I think like not being afraid to ask for help, and not in the way of like VCing, but you know, like support in regards to people's time, people's service swapping. Like I did a lot of service swapping at the start. I would give people financial coaching, and then they might give me a bit of marketing advice or a bit of content advice, or so yeah, not being afraid to like lean out on your network and get support. And if you don't have a network, go and build one.
Yeah.
Go to events.
Yeah.
You never know who you could meet. LinkedIn. Big up LinkedIn.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what I would probably say.
Beyond traditional bank loans and venture capital, what are some alternative funding methods or financial habits that you believe more entrepreneurs should be considering?
I mean, one of the things, I don't know much, you might. I know you know good government stuff. I don't know much like about the schemes and the funds and the grants. I know that you can get them. I just don't know what they are. But if you are wanting or needing to raise money or have, you know, kind of have cash that you can't fund yourself, is like crowdfunding and like crowdsourcing. So Crowdcube, Seeders, I think there's another one, I can't remember the name of it. Where they allow you to put your business idea on there, and you can get people, the public, the people that would be your users, your customers, to buy into your company in really small amounts, 5, 10, 15, 20 pounds. So you can raise money to do what you need to do, and then you give those customers something in return. It's not like the traditional way of investing where, you know, they're getting shares or they're getting a share in your business. It's like, you know, okay, if you give me £5, when my store opens, you'll get a free this, or when, you know, you get the higher premium subscription of my product when it launches at the lower price. Like it's giving the discounts and the benefits, but you can raise cash that way. I think that's I know some businesses that have raised money in that way. Like, and it's also such a good way to build community. Because you're not going, hey, I'm going to go to the big guy who's got all the money and just get it from them. You're going to go, I'm coming to my people. Please, you know, anything helps. And it makes you as an investor helping small businesses. Like it feels, it's like a nice place to put your cash. Obviously, with where the economy is at and where people's cash is, it's not necessarily going to be people parting thousands. It is more of a volume game. But yeah, I think it's a really nice way to like build your story and raise cash so that you can run your business.
Angel investing comes to mind.
Yeah.
And a business angel can just be a person you have a relationship who has some money that they want to diversify and put into something. And there's two organizations that come to mind for me, the UK BAA, so the UK Business Angels Association is a directory of angels, and also my good friend Andy Iam's Angel Investing School. He talks a lot about angel investing as well.
Big up Andy.
Yep, big up Andy. He's a great guy, very, very knowledgeable. If your company is relatively new, you can take advantage of the SEIS or EIS schemes, where there's a huge, it's like 50% tax relief or something for investing into a business, subject to how long it's been operating for and stuff. So the government's going to put that in place to encourage people to invest into new businesses. But if I could say like a left field one, I think if I was looking for financing now, I would make friends with like the older generation.
The boomers.
Yeah.
Hi, boomers.
Yeah, I would.
Give me your money.
I would network with people from the older generation, because it's like for the first time in a long time, like the older generation is doing better than the current one in terms of wealth. And you might have people that want to try different things with their money.
That's the power of networking, I think, as well. And also not everyone you meet, but there are people that also want to feel like they're making a big impact with their money. And I think that's the thing, because there's sort of a societal view that like money is evil, money is greedy. Like you see like the top 1% and they have the money and they're not doing anything good for the world. There is a lot of wealthy, incredible people. It's just the connecting. And that's why I think it's so cool with social media, with LinkedIn and being able to go to events and, get into those spaces. You just never know who you're going to meet. Yeah.
Someone that we both know, she got her investment, I believe, from just like just an older couple. She got quite a bit. Yeah, I'd speak to the older generation.
Yeah, I love that. Okay, the final question is, given the current economic landscape,
okay,
what do you think the future for entrepreneurship looks like in the UK?
Yeah.
And do you see any emerging trends or challenges that new business owners should be preparing for?
That's such a good question.
So what does the future look like, and what are the emerging trends and challenges?
Oh, okay, right. So I've just gotten off the back of reading Follow the Money by Paul Johnson. He's a senior guy at the IFS, possibly head of the IFS. Sorry, Paul, if I've gotten that wrong. Fantastic book. But in the book, he highlights 3 of the major challenges facing the UK economy going forwards. One of them is an aging low birth rate population. Another is climate change. And another is just a generally increasing size of the state. And I think that entrepreneurship has a role to play in the UK's recovery. There's a very, very important role to play. And I think there's going to be loads of opportunities for people if they're willing to come at entrepreneurship from a what can I do? Because I know there's a lot of entrepreneurship type conversations which are focused on doing what you love and doing what you want to do. But the UK is struggling from COVID. So we had to print a lot of money to get through COVID, and that's what we're paying back, £500 billion. The Ukraine war put a massive squeeze on energy prices and on the supply of goods, and then Brexit's just made everything harder as well. Yeah. So we're recovering from that. So if you can kind of look at COVID almost as like a war that we're recovering from, and the country needs to be rebuilt, and that's kind of how I position it, then there are a lot of opportunities. Yeah. Equally, I've been doing a lot of learning about climate change, and I read another book towards the end of last year, How to Avoid a Climate Disaster by Bill Gates. And long story, the TLDR of the book is we're currently putting 40 billion tons worth of carbon into the atmosphere. If we can't get that to zero by 2050, then we're all screwed. And I don't think we're going to avoid the climate disaster, but that's for a different podcast
another
episode.
Story for another day.
But there's going to be loads of clean energy opportunities for entrepreneurs, because the way that you deal with climate change, according to the book, is that you actually focus on getting to zero carbon energy production, like electricity, and you can use that to power all of the other zero carbon interventions. People who are into wind, solar, wind energy.
So into wind.
Love me some wind.
Yeah, just what's your hobbies? Wind, really.
Wind energy, solar, direct air capture, nuclear fusion and fission. There's going to be loads of opportunities globally for entrepreneurs that are in these spaces. But yeah, like the economy's really struggling at the moment. And I think as a country, the first thing we need to do is we need to be a bit more honest about that and honest about why that's happened.
Yeah. No, I love that. I really agree with your point on like taking out what you're passionate, what your purpose, like what you love, what you're good at. And sometimes it's great when they cross over, but also for the people that are entrepreneurial and are innovative, seeing like, you know, gaps in the market and things and just going, this is a potential. It's very much having, you know, like an abundance versus a scarcity mindset. Being able to say, I've never run a business before. I reckon I could give it a go, you know, regardless of how you do it, whatever. I think that the future of it looks like there'll be more people doing it. There'll be more
people doing what?
Entrepreneurship, sorry.
Okay,
more people, you know, it's on the rise anyway. I think that social media has really allowed people to kind of get into that place because you can literally start making money online straight away. But what I would say as a caveat or as like one of the challenges to that is you've got to be careful not to hear the noise online, which is people saying, hey, you can make an extra £1,000 a month from digital products. Then you just use ChatGPT to write a really random, awful course, whatever it is, digital product, and then go crazy marketing it. Because I've noticed a big trend in people being really starting to get really turned off by digital products because they buy it, they trust this person, they invest, and they go, this is a bunch of crap. I can tell that it's written by ChatGPT, or I can tell that it's regurgitated, or you want to come from a place of giving value and actually creating and providing something that is good. Because it might work in the short time. You might make a bit of money. You might make loads of money, whatever. But I think that that part is short-lived. Like I know that AI is a huge thing. It's getting bigger, right? And you can, again, choose to look at it for the good, choose to look at it for the bad. But I think that if the government are going to start to do stuff that's going to support small businesses in the UK and entrepreneurship, and it's going to encourage it, I think that's really great. But I think what we run the risk of as a country is people that are really intelligent and, you know, would be incredible business owners being like, I'm not going to do that here. Mm-hmm. And also what I will add to that is if you choose to go into being a business owner, go into entrepreneurship, is looking after your mental health. It's so easy to get caught up in the trap, you know, the burnout, the comparison, social media stuff. And it's like following people and having people in your community, having a life outside of your business. Like, yes, your business can be your baby and it can be your everything, but still having other stuff. Because if you're a bit like what you said before with the Daniel Priestley thing with the risk, if you're not in a good place, you know, it
will just manifest in your business.
100%. And what's the point of you running a business to have the freedom, the money, the joy, whatever, if you're then ill and sick? So like looking after yourself as you go, because I definitely think that's a challenge that a lot of entrepreneurs and business owners face. I think the glamorization of that is big. But in regards to trends, I think tech probably. I'm just excited. I get excited about the businesses that are going to come out, or like the products and the services that people are going to create. I love seeing new things in those, like in new spaces. I mean, like, oh my God, what a good idea. Like people are so clever. But I just hope that the ecosystem that we're in continues to support it.
Something I try and do as well is I try and pretend as though, because I was a kid in the 90s, but I try and pretend as though I'm the age I am now in the 90s. There's this thing called the internet that's just doing the rounds. And I try and guess what that would turn into in 30 years' time. And I'm trying to do that now with things like clean energy, AI, biotechnology, because like pandemics are going to be things of more things of the future as well. People are going to be moving around a lot more. So I just look at like things that are happening now and I try and extrapolate them forward and go, okay, so what will AI look like in the future?
I think it's a good point though, being able to look at something and be like, how's that going to have an impact? And also what role could I play, or like, and also I think that so much of being a business owner and being an entrepreneur is about your mindset and being able to go, yes, I can do this. Yes, I can face challenges. And actually, and this is my personal opinion, I think that so much of building the life that you want, of running a business, of being an entrepreneur, is about the journey and the person that you become on the way, not just about what you've built, especially if it is more lifestyle. I'm obsessed with Emma Grede. I think she's amazing. I've listened to her on loads of podcasts recently. I'm just like eating her content up. And I just love her attitude and approach to everything. And when she started running like Good American, she kind of just went into it being like, Levi's have got the whole monopoly on jeans. I'm going to go and learn everything about it. And if I fail, I fail. If I don't, I don't. And she's built something incredible for so many reasons, but has learned so much about herself along the way. And she's a girl's girl, and she has pulled girls with her along the way. Like, no, you deserve to be in this room with me. So it's like, don't play small. That's what I think. If you're going to go into entrepreneurship, like, don't play small. Don't be afraid to be like, I'm going to think big. I can do a lot. I can bring people along with me, and this can be an amazing journey.
Sounds like a good note to end on.
Yeah.